New World Computing is following up on the success it found in Empire with Empire 2, which lets the player wage war with units from different periods in time. Empire 2 is a straightforward strategy war sim where the player maneuvers his units in an attempt to capture key locations on the battlefield within the time frame set forth in the scenario. Providing scenarios and units from the Civil War to modern times and beyond, Empire 2 is taking what was learned from the popular Empire and building on it. Empire 2 is more than just two armies going at it. Battle sets from the Civil War, World War II, and modern times are included, as well as units from Norse mythology and the future. For the historical battle sets, actual historical scenarios have been designed. For the fictional sets, the designers came up with some ideas of their own. For the army of the Norse gods, for example, the Battle of Ragnarok is included, in which the heroic guardians of Asgard clash against their evil counterparts. Like the rest of the game's screen is very simple. The main screen shows a close-up of the battlefield, while the map screen shows a satellite view of the entire area with a box outlining the area shown in the main screen. To move around the battlefield, the player can click and drag the box outline around the map screen, or can click on the edge of the screen to move the view in that direction. The right side of the screen displays most of the important information like the score, the currently selected unit, and its orders. Everything is laid out in an efficient manner which provides the player with as much information as possible at once. Unit control in Empire 2 is as easy as everything else. There are two ways of giving orders. The first is through the icon group at the right side of the screen. Simply by clicking on the appropriate icon, a selected unit can be given orders to move, hold, fire, and more. The second method of giving orders is by clicking on the specific unit that you want to give orders to. A command menu window will pop up and the order is given from there. When playing Empire 2, there are two different styles of play which must be chosen before each game: sequential and parallel. In sequential mode, one side moves and fires completely. Then the other side does its moving and firing, and the turns go back and forth. In parallel mode, both sides issue all of their orders, and then the units execute their orders at one time. The sequential mode is more strategic since the enemy sits while you move, but the parallel mode is more realistic, offering a fog of war feel. The scenario editor that's included with the game is a real plus for Empire 2. The player can design his own battles or edit any of the existing scenarios included with the game. The editor is actually three editors in one. There's a map editor, which is used to design the battlefields, a technology editor, which edits the units involved in the war, and a scenario editor proper, which is where everything is brought together. The map editor uses the familiar tile method of designing the battlefield. Tiles with terrain like rivers and forests are placed on the map wherever the designer wants. But in an improvement on other terrain editors, connecting pieces like rivers and roads in Empire 2 doesn't require putting the correctly drawn pictures next to each other like train tracks. There's only one tile for rivers and roads, and when they're put next to each other, the computer automatically connects the two pieces, giving the designer a lot more freedom in map design than has been enjoyed in the past. The technology editor is where the actual units are designed, and I mean actually designed. Every feature from the name of the unit to its movement points on each type of terrain can be customized. Empire 2 gives access to all of the unit libraries, which means that one army can be made up of Civil War units, while the other side is comprised of units from World War II. Editing an entire scenario is where everything comes together. The player can use any existing maps and technology sets in a scenario or create them on the fly. But when a map and tech set have been either chosen or designed, the player simply allocates forces for both sides and sets the initial starting points for all of the units. At this point, the scenario is ready to go. Empire 2 is a very simple strategy war game to play, yet elegant and sophisticated in its gameplay. The battle sets from the different time periods are bound to provide a lot of diversity in play, and the scenario editor allows all you armchair generals to decide those what-if scenarios you've always wondered about. Expect Empire 2 to be released sometime in September or October.